Paddy, boys up and about, recovery over the weekend, training last night, short and sharp, team meeting after training's up and about, it's good. Obviously our under-18s in the grand final as well, so there's a 50 on the track last night. It's a very exciting time for our footy club, and netball's in as well, obviously against Sunbury as well in the A grade.
Yeah, it hasn't been like this for a long time, has it?
Well, never yet.
Well, never, yeah.
So first time, but we've got some guys with finals experience, coaching staff, and obviously Mark Greg to my right, obviously. But his leadership throughout the week's been very good in the finals campaign, so it's been good, it's exciting, and the boys are up and about ready to go.
Yeah. Selection issues, seems like Derek might be is he a 50-50 or?
Yeah, well, last night he thinks he's 80-20, but we've all spoken about the final series, and Rick said similar that we just can't take blokes in that aren't 100%, and we're aware that blokes aren't always 100% right, but you've got to be close to 95. Big day, don't be showing up with a bloke sore or injured in the second half or the last quarter and fall over. So it's very important that we're right to go and everyone's 100%. And like Derek's a very, very good player for our footy club, but he's a great player. But he's just got to be right. Someone else can take his role if he's not right.
Still that lower back injury, is that what's troubling?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, lower back injury, but he's had a fair crack to try and get it right, and we'll give him right up until maybe not Saturday morning, maybe Friday morning, right after training. But he has to complete training Thursday night at a level that we're happy with to get him over the line.
It must be, forwards have really stood up with them though, haven't they? Sean kicking 9 last week and 5 the week before. It's not like you 100% need him. He's handy obviously, but geez, you played pretty well heading there as well, haven't you?
I hope he doesn't watch this, but yeah. but it's just someone else played his role. Like Sean kicked 9 for us on the weekend, but it's because of the way we played and the way we made it that way. Greggy could have been in that role for that particular game, and he could have kicked 9. You know what I mean? So, although he's a very, very good player, someone else comes up and steps in that role. As Rick mentioned, I think he played 42 plays a year. We played 38. It's about getting blokes game time and into positions that if you're losing players, they can play that role for you in the team, and that's what we've done. Mick Williams stood up and took Sean's role. Sean took Derek's role. So thus far, it's not too bad.
Yeah, is he the only injury concern at the moment, or are there a couple of?
There's still a few, but the boys know well and truly. Start the final series, injured players won't be taking the game. So, and his blokes putting their hands up, but they will this time of year. Everyone's pretty keen to play and saying they're 100% right. But from I'll take the emotion away from it and just worry about what's right for our footy club and our structures, and the fittest blokes available will play.
Yeah, and it's been a bit of talk this week. Obviously, there was that photo from Saturday with yourself and Fitzy. What are your thoughts there, and what's happening there? It's what everyone's talking about. Everyone, I suppose, wants to know what is happening.
It's quite funny actually. Fitzy's a family friend for 10 years. Greggy and myself actually did a level 2 coaching course a couple of years ago, and part of that course was you had to have a football coaching mentor who filled in a form and did some information on actually your coaching ability. And David Parkin got up there, who's a superstar, and said you can call him, but I used Fitzy instead because I know him personally as well as outside as well as football. And I use him because he's a bit more accessible than David Parkin would be. And he's a good family friend. We spoke about watching a couple of things for me, and that's all it was. And the photo in the paper, and while they're talking about us, they're not worried about themselves. So it's great.
Do you think other teams, because they are other clubs have come out and they're obviously not too happy with it, do you think they should focus more on their own club, or do you instead of worrying on what you're doing?
That honestly doesn't bother me. I know we're not the most well-liked club in the comp. That's fantastic for us. Leaders kind of in the AFL, but every club in this competition has access to Fitzy, and I know for a fact, and I've spoken to players about it, they call him and do speak with him. And I honestly don't know the clubs that complained. The bloke that complained on the weekend was the bloke that was trying to recruit 2 of my players next year for his own club at Springbank, and he took the photo and he's a redeem bloke, so order for ducks back here, I don't care.
Yeah, and you did mention you're probably not the most well-liked club, and you said that's good for you. Do you think that's a good thing for you?
Well, I can't control it, so I don't care. I only worry about what we do internally and how our club's going. I have people to answer to in our football club, Steve Darvin. If I'm on the right thing there, he's happy. If I'm not, I'll get a whack across the head. But we're just about worrying about our football club and what we can do and where we're going in the future.
Yeah. Will Fitzy help you out on Saturday?
Hopefully, yeah, for sure. I'll ask him, man.
Yeah. But you haven't asked him yet, it's something you'll do later on?
Oh, I spoke to him at the start of the final series, mate. I speak to him 3 or 4 times a year about different stuff and selection ideas and stuff, but we have a relationship, as I mentioned, outside of footy as well as football, and I was lucky enough to coach with him a couple of years ago. But we just move on. I used Glenn Wilkins a couple of years ago to help him as well. Glenn Wilkins now is the coach of East Point Footy Club, so no one's complaining about that, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, and last time you played Sunbury, 94 points or whatever it was. Does that game pretty much mean nothing now?
Yeah, that's 6 or 7 weeks ago, I imagine, 5 or 6 weeks ago. They had about 12 players out, so a completely different Sunbury team that we'll face this week. some of our blokes haven't seen some of their boys this year, but some of their players haven't seen our blokes as well this year as well. You know, so it'll be a good game, great contest across the ground, and hopefully get up.
Any concerns over the fact you've played the last 3 weeks that you might be a bit more physically tired than they are, having the week off last week?
Yeah, look, it's been mentioned, but I just hope we're just getting right. You know what I mean? We've had we didn't have a big hit out against Sunbury because the players they played a lot of the reserve players to get through, and it's just tough rest of their key players. But some of the Sunbury boys as well have played 3 games in 7 weeks as well. You know what I mean? And there was a late winter game in here as well, so they up to the challenge of a hard, vigorous game this weekend, which we're we would definitely beat. You know, they've had injury concerns all year, which has been a worry for them, but they've done well to get where they are. But it's going to be a cracking game. There'll be no one left standing if you like. It's going to be a tough game of footy, and we won the midfield. That's where we want to win it.
Do you reckon the crowd might actually be in favour of Sunbury on the weekend?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care honestly. Look, Sunbury's got a great following, and as have we. But we're here to win a grand final. Cheers.
So, Greg, you've done before the VFL level. What's the difference this week around, and how much, I suppose, what experience do you bring to the club that you think might be able to help out?
Yeah, obviously, been through three flags in the last 5 years, so yeah, to have a bit of experience, I suppose, of being the oldest in the team, trying to get around to the young guys. Obviously, we've got a couple of older guys, but a lot of them are under probably 23, I guess. So having a chat to them and just telling them to keep things normal. I guess similar going into Saturday to our first flag in the VFL level is no one thought we could ever do it, and we didn't know whether we could do it. So for North Ballarat City to be in its first grand final and to have never have won one, we don't know that. But as I said, just getting around talking to the younger guys especially, just to say we didn't lose one game in the home and away season based on fluke or luck. We played some good footy, and obviously the Redan first final we had an RDO, I called it. We didn't turn up on the day. But the last 2 weeks hasn't been special footy. This has probably been what we've done all season.
Is there anyone else in the club who's actually won a senior flag in there?
Michael Todd. Sale. Sale's not even.
But no one who's won one in Ballarat, I suppose you could say. So
no. Oh, sorry, Derek. Yeah, but he's not playing obviously. But yeah, Tristan Carter's got dropped for one of the grand finals in the VFL a few years ago. Yeah. Aidan George's emergency in one of those years, but yeah, so that's obviously an experience. As I said, it's a challenge, and can we do it? I believe we can. Hopefully the young guys believe they can as well, but obviously Sunbury won it last year, so they're going to be full of confidence. They know what the day's all about. So it's going to be a great game, a great challenge for the club.
Yeah, how does the build-up compare? VFL might have a bit more attention. Obviously in Ballarat, it's just everyone's talking about this at the moment. How does the build-up throughout the week so far compare to when you're doing the VFL?
It's probably a bit more low-key, I think, obviously, VFL. Yeah, obviously, start of the week, people were talking about different things other than the game on Saturday, so which is disappointing. But yeah, all mates at work and at training, obviously last night, but a few people that rock up and you don't see throughout the year. So look, there is a lot more talk about it, but certainly not hasn't reached great heights so far. I've got Thursday to go, which I would imagine will be a lot of people around the club, and obviously, yeah, Sunbury have their answer to that.
Yeah, and how much of the younger guys called on your experience, because you've been there before and they haven't been? Have they been sort of coming up to you and asking you what it's going to be like?
Yeah, it's quite funny. Sometimes I think that Robbie or a few of the other guys might put it up to it because with some of the questions they come up and ask, yeah, what's it feel like, and do I have to do anything different and things like that. So yeah, as I said, I'm not there to get 30 kicks a game and kick 10 goals. That's not me. It's not been my role this year. So it's more the direction on the field and trying to help the guys out, as I said, about what motivates them, especially come Saturday.
And I suppose you must be thrilled overall from a club perspective, the manner in which the guys that have come in for those injured players have actually responded to the challenge, because you haven't really dropped off in tempo despite the loss of the likes of Tristan and also Derek for a little while.
Yeah, as Robbie said, it's all about role. I'm sure Rick will say the same, but country footy has really improved and become a lot more professional in the last 5 years. You look at the Central Highlands Grand Final weekend, just the professionalism there. So we're no different. As Robbie said, we've got 18 roles that when they come on the field, they've got to take up. And yeah, obviously Des, one of the best players in the league. We'd love to have him out there, but as Robbie said, Shawnee's come in, played a different role. Mick, Dean Ross Smith, myself will have to change up the roles a little bit. So Josh McDermott coming in, he's played reserves all year, played one senior game, and his last 2 games have been amazing. So it's all about opportunity, whoever gets an opportunity. But yeah, we're just based on the club philosophy that there's a role there to play on the day, whether that be on the netball court or on the footy field, and you just play your role. And that's probably the experience that I've been trying to tell the young guys, that you play your role on Saturday, you'll win the game of footy.
The ground's looking terrific. Firm fast track is expected, we hope, for some decent weather. Who do you see that as suiting between the two sides?
Oh, well, I suppose both teams finished up in the top of the ladder for a reason, that we both play in any type of conditions. Obviously some heavy grounds around this year, and early on in the season some dry ground. So we have got a really strong marking team, especially in the forward line. They've got some quality on ballers as well. So, but we think our fitness level is very high. So our second halves especially have been amazing this year. So hopefully that falls in our favour.
How much effort would you put into limiting the influence of the likes of Jay Cheap, Simon Clark, some of their superstars, relative to maybe just backing your own players' ability to actually get the job done?
Yeah, look, against a good team, you do talk about a few of their players, but they're in a grand final for a reason, the same as us. We've got 22 to 30 contributors that have got us there, and on the weekend there's going to be 44 amazing players out there in the ground. So, look, you might have a chat about a few guys, but you're certainly not going to be spending your whole time worrying about 2 or 3 guys, because there's so many players on the summaries list that get under your skin and win the game off your own boot.
Thank you.